I haven't played this since July 13th. That was the last time I recorded my Furry Protogen 2. 6 months since I recorded this. And the third one is already out. It's been out. July 20th, after 13 days of my last recording session. This game has been out 13 days. Should be 13 reasons each day at this point. It's been that long. It's been so long since I recorded this game. So long. Originally, when I came across this, it was interesting. Never thought I would actually make this into a series. Then I played other games. People were asking for it. I didn't know people even wanted this. Now I came back. Your savior has came back. I've played some VR, FNAF, horror games, Arc Raiders, mainly Arc Raiders, Payday 2, Gmod animations, projects. I want to quickly finish the second one, and then go serve with the third one, because I'm really curious how this franchise will end. I may not do the voices because I'm like want to rush this, maybe on the second one, depending on how I feel, but it's okay. Alright, it's okay. I can deal with it, but it still stays with you for life, you know? And I have no idea how long this is. This could be the last segment, this could go on with the third one, and then I'm like, oh, interesting. The feeling of being wrong, feeling like an outcast. I know you felt different on your planet. And Jesus, this music's so loud. And I know what that feels like. Of course, I'm not saying it was easy for you and harder for me. It wasn't. We both had our problems, our difficulties, which we overcame. But just as your fears and complexities stay with you, I too struggle with myself. Juno was silent, squeezing my hand in return. Juno, that's just silly. That's just silly. Be reasonable. Be honest. What the fuck? That's what I got from that. I mean, what you didn't tell me. I would never have thought of you as something you're not. To me, you're the best protogen in the world. It doesn't matter how different you are from them. Maybe they're the ones who are wrong, not you. Juno smiled, and I heard a quiet chuckle. Thank you, Doggo. Thanks for the encouragement. You are you. If you classify yourself as a protogen, then you are one. I'll consider you a protogen. If you classify yourself as, I don't know, human, I'll consider you human. The poetry is going hard right here. No one has the right to tell you who you are. Only you can know that. That statement goes strong in so many categories. And if they don't agree, well, let them keep quiet then. No one asked them anyway. So, you are a protogen, Juno. Nobody except you can change that. Juno laughed and hugged me back, pressing harder against my body with hers. Thank you, Doggo. That means a lot to me. You're welcome. I'm glad you finally opened up to me about your past. Well, at least some of it. I wish I could tell you more, but it's not the right time yet. Sorry, Doggo. I'll tell you everything as soon as I'm ready, okay? Brother, I can't with her. It's not a problem, Juno. You can keep it a secret for our whole lives if you need to. I won't mind. Thank you again, Doggo. I love you, and I'm just happy to be with you. We could both feel the heat radiating. Oh, Jesus, I think I know what's gonna happen. I didn't know how else to express my emotions, so I just leaned my head against her neck and started. Yep. When I woke up and saw Juno in my arms, lying peacefully next to me, running her fingers along my forearm, a feeling of warmth spread through my chest. It felt so comfortable that I didn't want to get out of bed. At that moment, more than ever, I wanted to spend the rest of my life with Juno. I knew we'd be happy, and I wanted that. I wanted to see what our life would be like in a year, or even in a few years. You could say decades, but okay, a few years. That means that they're not gonna be together in a few years. After that, I said few years, or whatever. Maybe we wouldn't be doing this mission anymore, but I wasn't ready to answer that question. I didn't know if it was right to give it all up. Not long ago, I thought my thirst for revenge was all I had left in my life. I had betrayed my village and my family once. Man, screw their family. No, they're freaking dumb anyway. And if I didn't get my revenge, I would do it again. I thought that this... Jesus Christ, there's 5 THs. I have a lisp, mind you. So I'd thought that this thirst for revenge was my only purpose in life. But now I realize that I was wrong. Juno was my purpose. Watch this be the end of the game. Watch this be the end of the game. That would be so funny. After we finally got out of bed, we showered and got dressed. Pixie asked where to set course now, but neither of us knew yet. We both sat in our chairs by a navigation panel and looked out into space. What do you say, Doggo? Where should we go now? I stared into the distance, not knowing what to say. Where do we go from here? Chase the shadows further, or just leave it all behind? I knew that Juno was thinking the same thing. That our heads were spinning with identical thoughts, questions, and assumptions. I don't know, Juno. What do you think? Juno shook her head. I want you to decide, Doggo. You were right when you said I don't understand your pain. I know why this mission is so important to you, and I know you want revenge, but if you like to give it all up and just forget, live a normal life, travel, I'll accept any choice you make. Dude, after experiencing all that, just leave it. Who cares about the planets, bro? Unless that villain is gonna do bigger planets with huge populations, then maybe. But hey, space is huge. You know, like the Star Wars verse, the space is huge. There's no point. I want you to finally be able to make your own decisions. I mean, you said it yourself. You've never been given a choice before. I sighed, looking ahead for a long while. We were silent. I was grateful to Juno for the choice, for the opportunity to finally decide for myself. But at the same time, the burden of responsibility, man, screw that responsibility, was weighing heavily on my shoulders, bro. It's planets, smaller ones. What's next? What's out there in the distance? Where will we go? What will we do? I didn't know the answers to these questions. Do you think we can move on? Just forget about the mission? I didn't even get a choice. He just did it. I didn't even get to choose. He just said it like, oh, it's just not... Okay, damn. Just forget about the mission. Push these past 2 years out of our minds. Do you think we can do that? I don't know. It doesn't matter to me, Doggo. I just want you around. It doesn't matter to me what we do. My home is where you are. Same for me, Juno. But I don't know the answer to that question. I felt guilty for so long. I don't even know why. For leaving my village? For leaving my family? Yes, I couldn't have helped them, and I realized that. I couldn't have saved them from the anomaly or the virus. But at the same time, that guilt doesn't go anywhere. It just sits there in my heart. And when I decided to take revenge, I thought it was the only way I could apologize to them, that it would somehow make it up to them. But now I don't know. Will I betray them? Their memory? If I abandon the mission? Juno shook her head, gently squeezing my hand in hers. Of course not, Doggo. You are not responsible for what someone else did. It was that Protogen who destroyed your planet, not you. He's the only one who killed your family. And species. Don't forget about that. He literally decimated his entire species. So, I would do the same thing, get revenge. I said it before, I'll say it again. It's not your fault. And it certainly won't be your fault if you decide to just move on with your life. You are your planet's legacy, but that doesn't mean you're responsible for its fate. And it doesn't mean your destiny is to just revenge. I don't know. Very often revenge gets you nowhere. Very often it doesn't get easier if you accomplish it. The death of that Protogen will not bring back your planet to or your kin, but it might save someone else, prevent him from destroying other planet. Other planets? Wait, I'm sorry. Other planet? Mean planets? Dude, the grammar in this game. I don't know, Juno. I don't know what to say. I still remember what he did to my home, and all I wish now is that I could see my planet as it once was. But that's not possible, is it? I like to save others, but putting your life and mine on the line? Sigh. Why is it so complicated, Juno? Why isn't the solution simple, as it used to be? Juno smiled softly at me. I know, Doggo. Decisions like this are never easy. But once you accept it, it gets easier. Juno. Oh, this is Pixie. Juno, have you decided where we fly? Where do you want us to go? Juno and I were silent, staring at the planet that hung in front of us. Now was the moment of truth. I remembered how Juno and I took a brief vacation on that planet, on 01221M, just enjoying moments of peace and relaxation. I remembered walking on the beach, swimming in the warm ocean. I remembered wishing I could capture that moment forever. Beyond that, I remember Lance's planet. It's called Majesty. It's called Majesty. Its inhabitants who didn't know where they were in danger. And if Juno and I haven't intervened, they'd all be dead now. Everything would be destroyed if it didn't feed my pride, didn't make me feel like a hero. No, not at all. But it gave me hope that all was not in vain. Even if my planet could never be brought back, we could save others. We can do what we can. We can do what we can to help. Or we could just give in to the selfish desire to live like everyone else, living in love, enjoying the time we had with each other. I mean, a lot of people would choose that actually. Not a lot of people would actually bother to save other people. I didn't know what answer to give to Juno. It was too hard. It was too hard. I sighed. Juno asked Pixie to start the engines. Soon we began to slowly leave the planet's orbit, getting faster and farther and farther away from it. Space was enveloping us again, surrounding us in that familiar darkness, and SR00845 was glowing in the darkness like a big light bulb. We were leaving everything that had happened there and moving forward, but where to go? Neither of us knew. Juno was waiting for an answer from me, but I couldn't give it. I don't know, Juno. Shoot. Let's just fly forward, shall we? That's enough for now. I don't want to see that planet again. I don't want to remember what happened on it. Juno nodded. She told Pixie to set a course for the nearest intergalactic station. Just as we needed to stock up on supplies and refuel a bit. There's no way this is the actual ending. Suddenly, Pixie chimed in. Juno, you asked me to tell you when we were in the sweet spot for Operation Surprise. Right now, we are at that point. Oh, thank you, Pixie. I had completely forgotten about that. I looked at Juno in confusion. She smiled enigmatically and rose from her seat, walking over to the telescope on the ship. When she looked through it, she smiled and waved at me. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. Come here. I want to show you something. Tired, I got up from my seat and walked over to Juno. What? Remember when I told you about the speed of light? How light has to travel a long distance through space to get somewhere? And because of that, distant objects will be visible from another part of the galaxy even after they die? I frowned and nodded, remembering it. I did some calculations, realized that SR00845 is in the perfect spot in the galaxy to see your planet from, and since they're far away from each other... Juno didn't finish her speech. She stepped back, giving me the opportunity to look through the telescope. My heart sank into my chest, and I took a step forward and looked through the telescope. My heart sank in my chest, and I took a step forward and looked through the telescope, and I saw that Juno was talking about. My heart stopped a few moments, clutched shut as if it were entangled by its own veins. Through the telescope, I could see my planet. It was still the same as I'd seen it once from aboard this very ship. The first thought I orbited it with Juno. It was shining, shimmering blue and green, alive, whole. I could see the blue oceans, the greenery of the continents. Tears welled in my eyes, and I felt a few run down my cheeks. I saw my planet in the past. I saw my planet as it had been long ago, when neither I nor my village, nor even humans had existed. She was so young and innocent, so beautiful, so full of life, and I could see her now. She was preserved in a weave of light rays traveling through space. Juno and I were silent. Those few minutes became an eternity. Our mission was not over. There were challenges ahead of us that we had no idea of, that we might not have been able to handle. But could we give up now? In my heart, I wish I could. I realized that the place I knew would never come back, nor would the other planets, nor those who had died from the anomaly, from the hands of the protogens that had created it. I wish I could stop, changing course, and simply enjoy life with Juno. But was it right to turn away now? Was it right to relinquish the responsibility we had already placed on our shoulders? The choices before us were to either give into our selfishness and just live as everyone else does in ignorance, in peace, loving each other, and just enjoying our time together, or to move forward. You want to live in hell or heaven? That's the kind of question that when in saying that it comes up. Do you want to live in heaven or hell? To stop the destruction, to avenge those who are forever just a blip in the history of the universe. So, ready to make the decision? I didn't take my eyes off the planet and held within the telescope lens. I knew what I would choose, and in that moment, it was no longer hard for me to decide. I felt my whole being grow with determination. Determination! Determination! Still staring into the distant past, into distant space, into that little corner of the galaxy so far away from us now. I nodded. Yes, Juno. I'm ready. Don't tell me. Oh my god, I was at the ending this entire time and I didn't even realize? I was at the ending? This entire time? And I stopped? Wait, how long is this recording? 19 minutes?
Want a break from the...
Oh my god, I told him he left his planet. I told him to leave. I told him to leave. What was I in my right mind to tell him to leave? He convinced Lance to leave his planet. My name? Doggo. Okay, there we go. Now we're here. It was all quiet. Damn, the music. Okay. It was quiet all around. So quiet, it didn't seem right for a place like this. During the time I spent with Juno on this journey, traveling the galaxy, exploring planets, I realized one thing. Silence never bodes well. Usually it meant something was waiting for us out there, in the silence, in deceptive calm. Juno was walking ahead of me, scanning the jungle as best she could, but even that couldn't guarantee our safety. She still looks the same. Oh, you can tell it's a bit... I can't tell the difference, to be honest with you. Do you hear that? Juno's voice broke through the dense silence, cutting through the jungle like cotton. Hear what? Juno's questions made me slowly tense up with mild concern, because with my imperfect... compared to her ears, I couldn't hear anything. Juno emitted a little hum, glancing around sharply. Exactly. Nothing. Juno turned to me, looking over her shoulder. It's a little too quiet here. I don't like it. I nodded, agreeing with her conclusion. Neither of us liked it, and I guessed why it was so quiet. Maybe that's just how this planet is. Silent animals? Juno shook her head thoughtfully. Not likely. There's an atmosphere here, so sound waves could easily travel through it. But everything seems to have gone too silent. Not a single bug flying by. They must be sensing something we don't. That's why they're never so quiet. Juno smiled at me. There you go again, making things tense. What? You started it. We continued onward in funeral silence, listening to every little rustle, but everything still remained eerily quiet. We walked several more meters forward, and I was just about to say something to Juno, maybe touch her shoulder to lighten the mood a little, when suddenly we heard a roar. Roar. So close, I thought I'd go deaf. The silence, thick and heavy like steam, shattered and dissolved, in a wild noise of snapping branches and bushes being crushed by something enormous, exploded around us. Something jumped right out of the dense jungle into our path, its eyes burning with the hunger of a predator. Run! 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 I shouted at the top of my lungs, grabbing Juno's hand, but it all happened too quickly. We tried to jump out of the way, but the monster was faster. Juno didn't have time to react. It knocked her off her feet, sending her rolling down a small slope. No! Juno! My panicked scream was nothing compared to the noise that surrounded us. Juno, trembling with the monster, managed to roll with the blow and kick it away with both legs. Recovering fast, the monster suddenly changed its mind and decided to go after the smaller prey. Me! I immediately grabbed my rifle, always securing slung over my shoulder, and opened fire. The beast looked like a massive mountain of muscle and armored skin. It growled menacingly, while baring its fanged mouth, and its red, hunger-filled eyes were now fixed on me, making my heart drop. I fired several times, but much to my horror, the rifle did nothing to it. The beast just got angrier, leaping from side to side, the ground shaking beneath its weight. Doggo, run! You gotta tell me twice, I'm leaving. Juno rushed at the monster in a desperate attempt to keep it from reaching me, but I knocked her aside with a powerful blow from its hind leg. Bolts of glowing energy sliced through the air as I kept firing in the vain hopes that the shots would eventually do something. but it was no use. Its thick hide was like armor, and I didn't know what else to try to stop it. Juno shouted, "Run! It's not working!" I completely ignored her words. I wasn't going to run. Juno knew it. We would have been in similar Juno knew it. We would have been in similar situations several times before, but she always tried to handle everything herself when something went wrong. I'll try to distract her while you think of something. Then I shouted at the top of my lungs, "Hey beast, over here!" I kept firing. Usually that doesn't work. You know, I hate when they have that in the stories. That doesn't work. I kept firing, aiming for the creature's eyes, trying to provoke it to attack me. Behind me was a small pit filled with poisonous plants, which Juno and I had recently passed, nestled right beneath the hillside. A plan formed in my mind instantly, and I acted on it faster than I could think it through or discuss it with Juno. Finally, the beast's attention was fully on me. After once again tossing Juno aside, it crouched, ready to pounce. At that moment, my heart nearly stopped, but I didn't back down. The monster lunged, kicking off the ground with its hind legs. I managed to dodge at the last second, pressing myself to the ground. The beast flew just centimeters above me and tumbled into the pit full of poisonous yellow plants. I jumped to my feet. Looking down, the massive body disappeared among the twisting, bright yellow vegetation. For a moment, I thought the plan worked, but the next instant, as if nothing had happened, the beast leaped back at me, crossing the distance in a few huge bounds. Shoot. Doggo, watch out! That was perfect. Me capitalizing my name, that was perfect. That was a perfect statement right there she just uttered. Thanks to all the training Juno and I had done, I managed to dodge it again. A gust of wind from the monster's paws slashed past me. My heart pounded in my chest and I felt my throat tighten up, but I barely kept my composure and didn't panic. I grabbed my rifle again and unleashed another burst of shots at it. The shots clearly irritated it, hitting its armored hide. It growled, preparing for another jump. One I probably couldn't dodge. Sheesh! But at that moment, Juno appeared from behind, and all I saw was the monster's massive head splitting in two from the cutting blow of her sword. The beast gulged blue blood. This ain't blue, this is purple. The beast gurgled blue blood and crashed into the ground. Breathing heavily, I also collapsed to the ground, trying to recover after the fight. We hadn't had battles like that in a long time, at least not with enemies this big. Whew. Are you okay, Doggo? Juno rushed over to me after wiping the blood off her sword. I nodded to her. I nodded to let her know I was fine. Yeah, I'm good, not hurt. You? Completely fine. It's just roughed me up a bit and ruined my hair. I smirked at her words. What a bastard. Juno smiled hearing my laugh. Tell me about it. No manners at all. I stood up, brushing myself off, and looked at the corpse. What do you think it was? Juno shrugged. Looks like a huge reptile to me. Dinosaur. I've seen something similar a few times, not that big. My rifle didn't even scratch its hide. Why bother with them if they never work? My story worked just fine. That's the good news. What do you mean, why bother? Most of the time they work. When was the last time they were effective? A couple of plants ago, we encountered that giant plant that could be easily damaged by rifles. But it was also easily damaged by a knife I had, so it's nothing special. Juno smiled at me again before turning to the monster taking the blood sample. Although, she moved on from her research mission long ago, and our priorities have shifted since we met. She never missed an opportunity to collect samples on any planet we visited. Alright, let's go. We need to keep moving. Juno turned to me, tucking the sample vial into her backpack. I holstered my rifle behind my shoulder, and then we moved forward through the endless thick jungle. Moments like these with quiet, peaceful sounds sometimes reminded me of the past. Of when we first met, when I saw Juno for the first time, and how my life changed forever. Sometimes I even felt like I didn't remember my old life anymore, as if everything before I met Juno simply faded, like a distant childhood dream. For the past 2 years, I rarely thought of what brought us together. Juno arriving on my planet, my escape from duties and responsibilities I never wanted or was ready for, that were forced on me. If I hadn't met her, I'd probably have been with a monster of heaven by now, along with all my kind. Hey, are you okay? Juno's voice pulled me out of my thoughts. Of course, I'm just not used to this much action anymore. He's getting old. Juno smiled and nodded. Right, I haven't had a good workout in a while. But it just seemed to me that something's bothering you again. Nah, I was just thinking about the past. It's nothing significant. I can't remember the last time you brought it up. Are those just nostalgic thoughts or just nostalgic. Just don't worry. I stopped grieving about it a while ago. I'm okay now. Alright then, just remember you can always talk to me about your negative thoughts, okay? Sure, I always tell you about them. If it wasn't for you, I might have healed much slower from all this. Juna approached and kissed me on the cheeks, then said, I love you, Doggo. Love you too. Kissed her back on the neck, which took Juna by surprise. After a few seconds, Juna smirked. Hey, you know it can escalate pretty quickly if you kiss me like this. Is it something to worry about? Since we are on a mission right now, yes. Wait until we finish everything and get back to the ship. Now let's keep moving. Yes, ma'am. Juno smiled, pinched my cheek, and turned around. She went further into the jungle, and I immediately followed her. How much further, by the way? Juno checked the radar and replied, Not far. I think about 20 minutes we'll be there. I breathed a sigh of relief. We continued our way through the jungle, which seemed to be coming back to life. The predator was defeated, and so the usual life of this place began to flow again. It's either because we moved from the predator's territory, or because the other inhabitants found that their oppressor was dead. Okay. We kept walking, tossing out random comments, chatting about anything and everything. Finally, a serious expression appeared on Juno's helmet. We reached our destination. This is the place. She pointed at a rocky mountain rising, covered in moss and forest. I craned my neck, trying to estimate how far we have to climb. Is it high up? More like it's deep inside that mountain. But we have to climb up. There's no entrances down here. Not our lucky day, huh? Juno smirked and pulled 2 pairs of climbing hooks from her backpack. Don't worry, we'll be home in a hot bath soon. The thought of a hot bath made me groan dramatically. I hated climbing mountains. Juno had to spend a lot of time teaching me how. Even though I could do it, I still didn't like it. I just wanted to get home as soon as possible, take off my dirty, sweat and blood-soaked clothes, wash up, eat, and finally rest. Maybe chat a bit with Pixie. Sighing again. I started climbing the mountain with Juno, digging the hooks into the hard rock. The climb took us about 15 minutes. The mountain wasn't very tall, but was pretty steep. At the top, we found what we were looking for, a small opening leading into the heart of the mountain. Juno secured the ropes and looked inside. Doesn't look too deep, but it's still better not to fall here. I grunted. Ugh. I'll try to follow your lead. We started the descent. Juno went first, and I followed after. Sure. Inside the cave was pitch dark. Why don't they grab the crystals and try to sell them? Earn some money. Inside the cave, it was pitch dark. Not dark to me. And only the bluish glow of crystalline outgrowths lit up the walls, covered in thick red moss. In the center of the cave stood the device, anomalously embedded in the rock. The crystals in the device glowed with the sinister violet light we knew so well. Juno signaled for me to stop. We're already in the safe range, don't get any closer. I know, we've done this many times. Why remind me every time? Sorry, just worried you forget. As if sensing our presence, the crystal began to pulse. The moss near it was black as coal. Ready? Juno looked at me and nodded in response. Pulling a grenade from my pocket, I aimed it and threw it right at the purple anomaly device. A moment later, there was an explosion. A violet sphere of energy briefly engulfed the device, and the crystals flickered and went dark. Go! Juno dashed forward, snatching the device in 2 quick leaps. We both rushed to the rope and grabbed it, and the mechanism instantly pulling us up. While I called Pixie, Juno wrapped the device in an energy-resistant fabric. It was only a few seconds before the jet piloted by Pixie appeared from behind the clouds. It descended above us. Juno and I jumped inside as quickly as we could. As soon as the jet began to ascend, something strange happened out of nowhere. Down below, right at the top of the mountain where we'd been standing just moments before, a portal opened, glowing with that damn violet light. Although I didn't have time to see who came out of the portal, I already knew exactly who it was, which suddenly filled me with a sense of dread. Get out of here. The jet shot away at a credible speed, carrying us to the ship waiting in orbit. When my heart finally calmed down a bit and stopped pounding in my chest, I turned to Juno. Did you see that? Juno nodded. That shouldn't have happened. He's showing up too soon. Damn it. I know. But the important thing is we got out in time. And not empty-handed. She pointed to the device, now safely packed in protective case. Juno's words sounded optimistic, but I still couldn't shake the uneasy feeling gnawing at me from the inside. Even though I should be used to our adventures by now, after the last 2 years, I still couldn't relax. Every appearance of that bastard sent chills of terror through me. I remembered well how our encounter 2 years ago ended. Remembered the fear I felt when I realized I might lose Juno forever. Neither of us knew who exactly we were dealing with, other than that he was a protogen. A protogen we had no useful information about. No name, no goals, no motives. The uncertainty ate at me. I couldn't come to terms with the fact that we were fighting someone who couldn't understand. Sooner or later, we just won't make it in time. We have to do something about this, but we can't stop, can we? Juno shook her head. We can't. We have to collect as much of them as we can. Hey, it'll be alright. He won't catch us. A warm hand rested on my shoulder and I relaxed a little. Juno smiled, moving closer to me. Yeah, I hope so. It just pisses me off that he's always on our tail. Juno nodded in understanding. But we've already saved 57 planets. I think it's worth 57. Jesus. At this point, I think... I don't know, man. A little warmth spread in my chest, and I finally smiled. What we did wasn't for nothing. I knew it. Always had. And that helped me cope with the fear that still buzzed somewhere in the back of my mind. Up ahead, our ship appeared, and I finally allowed myself to relax. As soon as the jet docked with the ship, we were inside. Pixie's voice greeted us. Well, he's green now. Or she. Doesn't have a gender. Juno. Doggo. I'm glad you're safe. Was the mission success? As always. I have already prepared a hot bath for you. Hearing that, I couldn't keep my happy grin off my face. Pixie, you are truly the best. Juno and I exchanged glances and, after leaving the device in the lab, raced each other toward the shower compartment. After we both cleaned up and settled down the rest in the main compartment, I found myself lost in negative thoughts again. About the portal, about the evil protogen coming out of it, about what to do with all of this going forward. We often discussed possible options, but none seemed reliable. Take trying to tame Archive, for instance. What made us think we could ever do that? No matter how much we trained, it was pointless. And as time kept ticking by, we both understood we were approaching a breaking point. Hey, why so gloomy again? Juno's voice made me flinch slightly. Not gloomy, just thinking. About the same thing again? Yeah, about that protogen. Juno came closer, laid her hand on mine, and squeezed my fingers. Stop overthinking. It's alright. We're still alive. For now. For now. You gotta add that. I know we're alive. I'm not overthinking. Just worried about our future missions. I know something that can help you. Juno smiled and leaned forward and pressed her lips on my shoulder. Trying to calm me down? More like distract you. Her lips curled in a sly grin and she pulled me into a kiss. I didn't even think to pull away. Her embrace always called me, and even in the shittiest moments. And if it weren't for her, I'd have lost my mind a long time ago. Already? Damn. Oh wait, it skipped it, right? Ah, shoot. Over the past few years, I gotten used to living on the ship. So much so that I could hardly remember anything else. It truly was my home. Maybe even more than my actual home, which I barely remembered anymore, to my own shame. Lol. Even though not much time has passed, memories of my old home, even my room, became fuzzier and more faded with each day. And I felt like withered leaf fallen from a tree in the autumn. Maybe it was because I never really seen that place as home. A place where my soul could rest and recover, where I feel comfortable, feel free at peace. Free at last. Free at last. My home, a small wooden house in the corner of my native village, was a cage for me. A golden cage whose bars I could never really see beyond. After breaking free, I could never go back, and that, too, I barely remember now. The people, their faces, their names, all of it was gradually fading from my memory. Or maybe my brain was just playing tricks on me. And I remember sensations more than actual images. I remembered longing for rebellion, and my whole being wanted to scream, beat against those golden shackles. Anger, resentment, despair, sadness, all burned brightly in my memory. But not the people around me, not my old home cage, the core of which I could no longer picture in my head. Of course, I remembered Mom and Dad, but even their faces were slowly fading in my mind. Maybe because of the last moments together. My mother, wasted in my illness, her cooling body. It was like it happened in another life, a life I was slowly forgetting. It was difficult to accept, but I was glad I had been forgetting it. I wanted to spend hours and days at the ship, not my old house, This was the place I wanted to live my whole life. This was the place where I wanted to find moments of peace and comfort in an unstable, dangerous life that Juno and I had chosen. We chose this life ourselves, and sometimes I still thought about it. About how things could have been different. About how we could have just flown off whenever we pleased and found a quiet and peaceful corner in the endless universe. We could have enjoyed our every day together, forgetting about warriors and mortal danger, but of course it wasn't meant to be. Neither I nor Juno could ever just stop. 2 years ago, she asked me, Are you ready to make a choice? And I understood what I was giving up. I knew what I was risking. I couldn't have lived for myself, and we didn't take the chance to step in to save those who needed saving. We couldn't just let the whole world die and vanish forever in the endless void. And I, personally, could never sleep peacefully knowing that one who took my home planet, my parents, was still out there, free, crazed with his own impunity. We didn't know who we'd declare war on, didn't know how we'd fight, but we were together, and that was already an adventure. Advantage? An advantage. We spent 2 years preparing. I trained every day, never skipping a session, and in the end, made real progress, at least compared to where I started. I've come to terms with the idea that Juno and I could lose this war, that we might end up on some lonely, empty planet and no one could ever find our remains, or know what we sacrificed for even the smallest chance of victory. But that didn't matter. We had a goal, we made a choice, and all that was left was to keep going, to the end. Hey, good morning. Juno's voice caught me off guard, making me jump. Today, I got up before her and went straight to the kitchen for something hot to drink. Even though there was no real day or night on the ship, or even space for that matter, we still tried to stick to the schedule. Morning. Is everything okay? You look a little down today. I shrugged. Yeah, I'm fine. Just a bit sleepy. Juno nodded in understanding, sitting across from me. The next planet is in the Sector 15L. I've already set the coordinates. I nodded glumly again. Come on, let's start training. You're really falling apart here. I gave her a tired smile. Yeah, there's no better way to cheer me up. Juno giggled, got up, took my hand in hers, and dragged me towards the training compartment. Pixie, can you set a timer? Of course, Dalgo. Enjoy your training. The ship's gym was a compact but well-equipped room located at the southern end of the ship. How big is this ship? Is this like a Star Wars ship where it's like huge? Or is it like a I don't know what kind of ship games are there. Yeah, like a Star Wars ship? Like it has a compartment and everything, like something big? I don't know. The ship's gym was a compact but well-equipped room located at the southern end of the ship, next to the laboratory. Its walls were covered with a special soft material, which kept me from smashing my face or otherwise injuring myself during training. At first, I was completely useless here. Juno didn't even hit with her half of her strength, not even a quarter, and I was already sprawled to the floor like a pile of trash. A few times she managed to break my nose, not on purpose, of course, and then felt guilty for a long time. But I didn't pay attention to the bruises and injuries. I trained with stubborn persistence, refusing to give up, and finally my efforts paid off. Gradually, the gym filled up with new and varied equipment, with Juno interplanetary stations while restocking supplies, or made herself from whatever materials were at hand. Now we had a whole complex, and everything from power racks to holographic combat simulators. I took my body seriously, and only thanks to that did I finally build solid muscle. I often came here alone just to work out, to put myself and my thoughts in order. Often I show up in the middle of the night when Juno was already asleep, and I couldn't get myself to shut down. The air here was cool, with a faint metallic taste of recycled oxygen. Here we blow off steam, hone our skills, and sometimes we even settle random playful disputes. Of course, Juno was still stronger than me, and could still easily kick my ass. But now it took her a lot longer, and we both considered that huge progress. Are you ready to start? Juno stepped in the center of the room, her hands wrapped in protective tape, her pale bangs clipped up on the top of her head. She rocked slightly on her toes and had her eyes locked onto me. I stepped into the mat across from her, unable to stop the grin spreading on my lips. Excitement lit up in my eyes. Blood began to boil in my veins. It almost felt like we were about to have fun, not fight. But there was something similar in the energy. It was the same passion. And in the heat of sparring, there was no difference between a kiss and a well-placed punch. Are you sure you're ready for this, babe? I'm in good shape today. I couldn't help but tease her as I was rolling my shoulders and loosening up in preparation. Of course, it was all a joke. If Juno wanted to, she could break every bone in my body with one punch and send me to visit the Mother of Heaven. Or whatever deity was local to where we were flying. Juno played along right away. Careful, darling. I wouldn't want to hurt your ego and bring you down to earth. That's so funny. I smirked, parrying with a gentle retort. Funny. I was just thinking the same about you. We laughed, raising our fists in a playful fighting stance. Juno mirrored my pose. Get ready. Let's see your current progress. We circled each other, our movements smooth and deliberate. Well practiced from years of daily training. Juno struck first, aiming a punch at my ribs. Jeez. I dodged easily and blocked her move. Countering with a hook, she ducked under deftly. We moved like that for a while, testing each other's defense, reaction, and strikes and parries. It was a dance of precision and instinct, and a kind of foreplay. What's the matter, doggo? Getting slow and old? That's crazy. Juno teased, dodging a strong kick. My breathing was getting faster, my body warming up quickly, the temperature rising. I'm just giving you a head start. You're my girlfriend after all. Juno laughed, making a feint to the left to catch me off guard. But knowing that trick, I jumped back just in time. Juno used her advantage, pushing me to the edge of our makeshift ring with a flurry of strikes. I blocked most of them, but one slipped through, catching me on the cheek. How's that? A sly smile appeared on Juno's helmet. She stepped back, giving me a few seconds to rest, but I didn't need it. I touched my cheek, but the grin grew wider. The excitement was burning away all the bad thoughts. That's why I love sparring so much. You just got lucky. I could have dodged, but decided to let you have it. Of course, we were both just joking. Me going easy on Juno? Very funny. But it no longer bothered or upset me that she was stronger. After all, we were different species. It was no surprise our bodies, even if similar in some ways, were still fundamentally different. Yeah, sure, keep telling yourself that. After resetting back into position, we resumed our sparring session. But with our moments now sharper than before, the playful teasing replaced by focused tension, I landed a series of quick punches, forcing her into a defensive position. She blocked and dodged, never taking her eyes off of me, waiting for me to tire her out. Finally, Juno took her chance, tripping me and sending me sprawling on the floor. I groaned, but rolled onto my back and laughing. Okay, you win this round. But it wasn't fair, I got distracted. Juno reached out to help me up, laughing too. Interesting. What distracted you? I got up, rubbing my thighs and stomach, the spots I'd fallen on. Your beautiful eyes? Juno laughed. Naturally, it's always your beautiful eyes or your beautiful body. It's never my skill. That's funny. I couldn't help it. Your eyes draw me in, and I consistently have to fight against your charm. We both barely held back our laughter, trying to keep serious faces. That's my secret weapon. Exactly, but don't get too comfortable, because next time I'll get you. Juno smiled. I believe it when I see it. She grabbed a towel from the rack and tossed to me before taking another for herself. I wiped sweat from my forehead. My hair was already soaked though. All jokes aside, you're getting better and better, doggo. That last move was impressive. I'm proud of you. Thanks, Juno. I could have done it without you. My voice was warm and sincere. Juno smiled and touched my hand, gently squeezing it, her usual frequent gesture of support. So, shall we try the arcade training now? I sighed faintly. No matter how much you trained, it all seemed pointless. But Juno asked with a trace of hope, but I couldn't refuse her. And I wasn't the one to give up this whole training thing. I complained, sure, but didn't quit. I hoped that all we needed was just a little more time. Yeah, let's do it. Most of these training sessions didn't involve any physical exercise. According to the guide Juno had found, you just needed to focus and listen to yourself. In other words, meditate. Which I was honestly crap at because my mind was always too busy with thoughts. I could never turn off my thoughts. I couldn't even imagine my head being simply quiet and nothing else. But I still did what I was supposed to do. Juno and I sat on the floor, crossing our legs, resting our hands on our knees, closing our eyes. We sat facing each other. I tried to focus on my breathing, calm my mind, just like our only guide instructed. For several minutes we sat like that, in silence. Then I cracked my eyes open, glancing at Juno. Her helmet was totally dark. which always looked a little creepy to me. I squeezed my eyes shut again, sinking into my half-empty mind. The minutes stretched endlessly. I had no idea how long we'd been sitting there. At least 40 minutes, according to my inner clock. When I couldn't keep it anymore, I slightly signed in a tone of annoyed resignation. This is ridiculous. We're not getting anywhere. I didn't open my eyes, still pretending to meditate, even though I was itching to get up and hit the punching bag. Juno replied curtly, "Shh." I dramatically rolled my eyes behind closed lids. I've been sitting here for almost an hour. The only thing I've achieved is my leg going numb. So true. Maybe if you stop talking, you actually get somewhere. Easy for you to say. You're always better at meditating. I just can't do it. And my ass is also getting square. Meditation isn't something you're good or bad at. Just shut off your thoughts and listen to yourself. Everything as it should be. You need to feel the energy inside you, connect with it. I snorted irritably. I hated when something didn't work for me. I opened my eyes and said, maybe I just don't have any energy. Maybe you're the one who does. Maybe you're the only one who does. Juno shot me another meaningful look. Stop it, doggo. Everyone and everything has this energy. It's in every planet, every tiny living thing. And in you too. So stop complaining and try to focus. I mumbled, something unintelligibly, but grumpy in response. But still, closed my eyes and tried to return to the exercise. Damn! We had been doing this for 2 years. Ever since Juno found the guide, thanks to Pixie, of course. According to the fragmented records, we managed to get it. Meditation was supposed to be a tool of awakening the hidden energy. The energy was called Archai. And according to the book, it was the key to understanding the universe itself. That's bull. If the universe was a body, then Archai was its blood. Juno was sure Archai was in all of us, but I was skeptical. I didn't believe I'd ever to be able to use it. Still, every time I trained, my brain was always buzzing with thoughts, and I wasn't really meditating. I was just sitting there with my eyes closed, listening to my own voice in my head. And after 2 years, neither Juno nor I had made any progress. She was better at meditating, but her efforts got her nowhere either. Or is it either? Deep down, I lost hope that Archai could ever help us fight our enemy. We need another ace, but Juno didn't want to hear it. I tried to focus on my breathing, tried to imagine the energy my consciousness was supposed to access. I pictured our spark, a tiny flash of light deep in my chest, how it grew, spread through my body, connecting with the pulsing light, with the beating of my heart. But no matter how hard I tried, the spark stayed elusive, just out of reach. For the umpteenth time, I said, maybe we're doing it all wrong. We're doing what the guide says. And where you get this guide anyway? How do we know it's not all nonsense? It's the knowledge available to protogens about Archai. Maybe the protogens didn't know anything either. Have you seen many protogens use Archai? Fine. So what do you think we should do? I don't know. Read a spell? Make a sacrifice on an altar? Ha, very funny. I don't think there is an easy way to do it. Well, this method isn't working either. I don't know, maybe we're just broken. We're not broken, we just don't understand something. And it's most likely there's something else we're missing here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look, I'm all for self-improvement, but I feel like this is a waste of time. We really need to come up with a plan B, because right now we're counting on something that we don't have. After a few seconds, Juno sighed mildly and reductively agreed. Okay, let's call it a day. We'll think about something later. Great idea. Juno stood up from the floor and I carefully followed suit afterwards, stretching to loosen my stiff muscles. But I still think we should try to learn how to use this energy. That bastard managed to use it. We still need to figure out. Wait, that bastard managed to use it. That bastard managed to use it. So we need to figure out how we can too. After taking a moment to think back on the first encounter, I recalled the main reason as to how he was able to use Archai. What if we need to, I don't know, destroy planets to do it? Juno was silent for a few moments. No, I don't believe that's the only way. I'm sure there's a way to tame it without destroying something. Or maybe we're just chasing crazy hopes. Not everything in those ancient records might be true. I shook my head. It's just we're risking too much hoping for a miracle. Hoping for a miracle is a bad plan, Juno. As a scientist, you should obviously know that. Juno shrugged. Maybe, but I'm not ready to give up. I know. Me neither. How about we shower and eat? A slightly tired smile appeared on my face. Now that's more like it. We left the gym. Pixie told us he'd already prepared a bath, but for some reason I couldn't shake the feeling that we're missing something. Something very important. I didn't know what, and neither did Juno. So all we could do was keep doing the same thing, hoping that one day something would finally work. Alright, I'm gonna stop this right here. This is a perfect time to stop. Save. I was not expecting that I could have finished it this entire time on the second one, and now I'm playing the third one. So that is it for my Furry Protogen 3, 2. I don't know, but yeah.